Okay, hello everybody. We're back with episode 6 of WandaVision. I am Will.
And I am Kristen.
Also, we're still separate because I'm getting over sick. I think as of Riverdale, we should be good to go.
Yeah, I'm sure we're fine.
So, although this has been kind of fun, it's nice to know we can do this. And I agree, I would like to have a guest. Okay, I have things I want to say, and I don't know how to go about it. I don't know what to start with. So I'll ask you, what did you like this episode?
I did, yes. I liked a lot of things about it. I like the way we're really piecing out the information. That is very interesting to me. However, I think when this series is over in 3 weeks, I am going to binge the entire thing because I want to see how it all hangs together as like a movie.
Sure. Something also dawned on me only last night watching this because I stayed up. It somehow has only now dawned on me that this is probably not going to be tied up in a tidy little bow. No. This is launching phase 4. And I had it in my mind like we were going to have the mystery solved come episode 9. And I was like, oh, this is the jumping off point.
Yeah.
Speculating.
I think we might not have a mystery solved until the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. I cannot stress enough how much I am enjoying this. This is one of the few shows on TV that I just, like, it makes my day. Like, It's up there. And a little bit, we've talked on and off. We've actually done extensive coverage of 911 on Fox. And one of the things I say about that show is it reminds me of how TV used to be when I was young. Yeah. Like in the 90s, where you can just kind of watch it, because television has gotten so sophisticated.
Oh, yeah. But you have to have those shows that you just, like, put on. Like, I currently started watching White Collar again because I know enough about it that I can just, like, ignore it for the most part. And I just am, like, kind of watching Matt Bomer and then also Tiffany Thiessen. And it's just, like, kind of fun. But, yeah, I totally know what you mean. You have to have shows like that are just basically nothing.
So I am just flat out enjoying it. But I'm having to juggle. What I think is happening versus what I thought was going to happen versus what I want to happen. So in my mind, there are 3 different things playing out. And there's a part of me where I'm like, I'm very guarded watching it because I don't want to get my hopes up. And I am very aware. I'm watching it very actively. And I had this sort of epiphany where I thought, we only have 3 more episodes. And I feel like they haven't even scratched the surface. And I was thinking of it in sort of like the show is doing something wrong. And then I thought about it and I was like, I feel like I haven't been paying attention to what it is giving us.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Because it's sort of like, I feel like I'm still waiting. Like, I mean, obviously things have happened, but I'm still sort of waiting for things to the point where I was like, oh, no, look at the clues we have.
I think one of the things that you're talking about that was so cool in this episode was actually the commercial for the yogurt.
Magic, the snack for survivors.
Well, and that's the thing is it's like I'm having a hard time telling what is part of the story, what's part of the MCU, and what's part of the genre confines of the episode.
Sure. So, I mean, like, obviously the style of the commercial was part of the genre confines, but the whole show is part of the MCU. I don't think you need to be distinguishing that. It's all going to be canon.
But when they were focusing heavily on Uncle Peter, like Uncle Pietro, and I'm like, well, is that the 90s Malcolm in the Middleness of it? Or is this the plot? And it's like, I think a lot of things both. I was writing. Yeah, a lot of things I was writing off as just coincidences of the genre in ways that I'm like, because I guess people don't trust Evan Peters.
No.
I just assumed I assumed this was how they were handling the Fox merger. I assumed he was just Quicksilver from another timeline.
I think that might fold into it, but he is asking her too many questions.
And I saw some tweets where people were like,
he's trying to find out how to get out.
Okay.
He's trying to find out how to get the people out. So I have a suspicion that he is like working with, maybe not with
I thought Vision was trying to get the people out.
Who?
Vision's trying to get the people out.
Well, of course, but I think that Quicksilver, Peter, I think he's trying to figure out how to end this thing. He's trying to figure out what she's done.
But so who sent him, though? Where did he come from? Because it doesn't seem like Sword. No, they haven't mentioned him.
No, I don't think it's Sword, because they are very nefarious at this point.
Yeah, and so I'm like, is there a third entity? And then there's a handful of things.
Well, it could still be S.H.I.E.L.D.
No, it seems magic. There's a handful of things, like there's a reveal that the twins have powers in this episode, and it was treated like a reveal, but I'm kind of like, well, no shit. Like, that's why we're doing this. So there's a part of me where it's like, I like the kids, and I am and want to be invested in them, but there's another part of me where it's like, I'm sort of just treating them like a plot device. And
no, you should pay more attention to the kids.
Okay. Why?
Not for any specific reason.
I was like, what do you know?
I suspect they will be important. I think you should pay more attention to them.
Well, she was surprised that they had powers. Like, they didn't just age themselves up the previous episode.
I think she was surprised that they had, like, the powers they have.
Specific
I think the
powers?
aging up is a different thing. I think she might have thought the aging up was kind of her. Like, because she was, like, tired of dealing with whatever was happening. Until she, like, realized they were doing it. And now I think she's more surprised that she can't do anything to control them. Like, they're outside of her bounds.
I also can't get a read on the passage of time, because we're very clearly presented with decades. But they've said it's a matter of days.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it would be generous to say it's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And the people in the town, the handful of times they're lucid, they're acting like this has been an eternity. And not that I think it would be a cakewalk to be under mind controlled for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
But they're sort of like, the way Agnes was like, no one ever leaves. And I'm like, that hasn't even been a week. I mean, have you tried? Like,
I think it's painful. I think it's painful to their psyches.
Okay. But just the phrasing of the no one ever leaves, that makes it seem like,
well, it might also be some kind of pocket where it feels like more time is passing.
Like the decades have been in real time. And
sort of.
And yeah. I'm so curious who these people were that, like, who is Vision's boss and his wife? Like, we spent an entire episode with this plot, and that hasn't paid off in any meaningful way. And who is Dottie? Like, I refuse to believe that was just like a really cool stunt cast in one episode.
It's also, I mean, it's only a stunt cast for, like, very specific people.
I don't know. And that's where I'm like, I'm doing this juggling act. It sounds like I'm not enjoying it, and I am.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm tempering my feelings, because it was like, I had convinced myself that we were getting witches, because I mean, there were witches all over the place in this episode.
Yeah.
And so I had convinced myself that, like, Agnes and Dottie were gonna be witches, and they were gonna try and bring, like, Wanda into, because you know how witches love to go in threes. The Weird Sisters, the Fates, the Graces, the Sirens.
I think the problem is that you want these things, and then you are sad when they don't happen. I think you just need to watch this show.
I'm projecting what I want onto
You just need to straightforward watch this show and, like, absorb what is being presented to you.
Okay, so then straightforward watching it, what's going on? Like, what are you taking away from this? Like, what do you think's happening?
That's the other thing, is like, I don't read that deep into Marvel, and I know that there is depth to it, but I'm just like, this is cool. Wanda's fucking up. Who knows what's gonna happen next? I'm just like along for the ride, and I'm having a great time.
I am enjoying it, but I think maybe they fucked up telling me there was a mystery.
I just think the mystery, we know what the mystery is already. The mystery is that Wanda has basically taken this town under, like, mind control. I don't necessarily, I'm sure there is something slightly deeper than that, but I'm not waiting for in the last 3 episodes, this big dun 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 kind of thing. I think that is the main mystery, is that she did this, and then now we're trying to figure out why.
I am. No, I am.
Then my mind will be blown.
Well, because this is what they're launching Phase 4 on. It's like, we already know the multiverse is coming, so it's like, I don't know. I do want more than her just sort of like doing the Charleston until she accidentally rips open the multiverse. But.
Well, it's like I said, I'm sure there will be more, and I'm sure she will open rip open the multiverse or whatever, but for the moment, is like all the characters that we know are trying to get on the same page. That's so the major thing that's happening.
Okay. So the thing with the kids, like, because there were no kids until Vision pointed it out, and then she had the kids, and then there were kids all over this episode. And we had Evan Peters was explaining, which that was kind of cool, where he was sort of like, I see what you did here.
You don't think it's wrong?
Are you kidding? I'm impressed. Seriously. It's a pretty big leap from giving people nightmares and shooting red wiggly woos out of your hands.
She's thinking of these people, like she's trying to not traumatize them more than necessary.
Yeah.
And so he was like, what, are you keeping them asleep, like in a state of sleep and just bring them out every so often for a holiday episode?
Yeah.
The director, what's his name? Hayward?
I don't remember. Of Sword? Yeah, Hayward.
Yeah. Because everyone's talking about how, like, they're like, he's just, like he's a bad guy. And I'm like, well, yeah, but I thought he was handsome, and I'm a sucker for that. But when he said to Monica and Darcy, which one of you is the sassy friend?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No good, man. No good.
And I also think Monica is a little too cavalier about her cells mutating on a molecular level.
I agree with that. She's like, I've seen so many cells, and I'm just like, okay, but like, you will see more metastasizing cells if you don't stop.
Well, she's very fearless about it, which I get that, especially the comparison to, her mother's cancer. But it's like, she doesn't know she's in a Marvel movie. She could be in The Color Out of Space. You know what I mean? I'm like,
oh, God.
I'm charging into this shit.
Yeah.
That's the shimmer. You don't know what's going on.
You don't know. You will turn into flowers so fast.
I loved the Kick-Ass reference.
Yeah.
Did you catch that?
Was pretty funny. Yeah. Will had to rewind it because he was like, they said something about Kick-Ass, and I don't know what that is. And I was like, well, both of them were in it.
Yeah.
And he was like, you're kidding me. Evan Peters was in it, and I showed him all the pictures, and I was like, yeah. And he was like, I didn't know who he was when we saw that movie.
So Wanda expanded the orb.
Did she expand it, or did she move it?
Oh, I thought she expanded it.
Okay. I thought she was like taking it with her.
I mean, if she starts engulfing the eastern seaboard.
Okay. I thought she was moving it, and so I thought she was moving it, and that we were going to have people who were out of it now on the other side.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Well, because Vision was ripping himself apart trying to get out, which is hellish.
Elizabeth Olsen's gotten a lot of props, which rightfully so. Yeah. I love her. I think she's great. I think she deserves it. But Paul Bettany is doing such amazing work, especially these last two episodes.
Now that he knows.
He's trying to play it cool, but he's still challenging her.
Yeah.
Like, he made the comment about how it was the only thing available, it was the only thing in my closet, so I had to wear it. And then, when he told her to be good before he left and stuff, it's like, it's really interesting. I'm also just curious, like, I just don't know what her game plan is, because what happens when she hits 2021? Like, is this sitcom trope? Like, what's the future look like? Although I guess she doesn't have a game plan.
I don't, that's the thing is, like, I really don't think she has a game plan. I think she obviously now, she knows that she actively knows she's doing it. She's not really going in that sitcom fugue state anymore. She's very aware of the things that she's doing, but I just feel like she's sad. Like, I think she's just really, really sad, and she is unwilling to let go of this in her grief. Like, it's the only thing that's bringing her any kind of peace. And I think that's sort of part of the reason why Vision started tearing apart when he was leaving. Like, I'm very curious what would happen to Vision if she let the whole illusion go. Is that going to happen to him again? Or what? And then she also saw Evan Peters all dead with the gunshots that Aaron Taylor Johnson had. I'm very curious, what exactly, has she actually brought these people back to life, or is this like like a golem, kind of.
Yeah, well, because he also... Because I don't know who he is or what he knows, because he also says, it's not like your dead husband can die twice, which Vision did in Endgame.
Yeah. 100%.
And so, we kind of passed by it, but I wanted to acknowledge that I really thought the Malcolm in the Middle was brilliant. We've also moved from 3-camera to single camera.
Yeah.
And we had Wiccan was breaking the fourth wall, which I thought was interesting.
I did too.
There were a handful of times when he was talking to the camera that Evan Peters noticed. He was the only one watching Wiccan talk to the camera.
I didn't notice that.
I think something else is going on.
Yeah. I mean, something else has to be going on, but I can't. I am not that person. I am not that Marvel
just taking
person.
It at face value.
I am taking this at face value. I am accepting the information they're giving me while knowing that they're holding information back. But I cannot be the person who's like, the third strand of hair on the left side of her face was askew in a way that it only is in issue number 436. And I'm just like, I can't be there for that.
It was more than the third strand. There was many strands, but
whatever. I just like, that's not who I am as a viewer of television. And so I'm never going to be the one who's noticing all of the like, the Easter eggs for the MCU as a whole. So I am just watching this at face value. I am just like, this was a cool episode of a cool TV show that links into a cool movie series that I like, and that's as far as I'm really taking it. I love it.
Well, we
didn't really talk about Agnes. That was heartbreaking.
Well, again, because I don't understand. I don't understand like what she was doing, and I think it's because
she was too far away from Wanda. All of the people that were far away from Wanda were like wax figures.
Yeah, but how did she get that far? And what was she doing that she got that far? And because, she did the thing.
She's been kind of aware. I think she was trying to leave.
To get out.
Yeah,
she
because
did the thing.
I'm sorry. I keep cutting you. I keep on almost saying something, but, Wanda told the kids not to go past Ellis Street, and she was at Ellis Street. She was about to cross over Ellis Street. So I feel like that's obviously the barrier is just past that. But I think she's aware enough that she's trying to leave, but she doesn't really, I think she still doesn't totally understand. She's just trying to get out of town.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and I mean, we've already established that I think something more sophisticated, or I'm looking for something more sophisticated, but she did the thing that Vision's boss's wife did, that Deborah Jo Rupp did, where she just kind of kept repeating and screaming at him, where she was like, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead, and it was like she was like malfunctioning. It was really weird, and being as they've done that twice, I'm gonna want some kind of acknowledgement of that.
Yeah.
I love that she absorbed Sword and turned them into a bunch of clowns. That was so funny, especially in 2021 internet culture.
Well, it looks like it's gone back to the 50s.
It did look strange. Yeah.
All the cars when she took over the car lot, it all looked like the 50s again. So I was
help me God, if we get Darcy as a diner waitress.
Darcy's gonna be some
as a two broke girl.
I was like, Kat Dennings has the face for period makeup, so I was like, but then I was like, oh shit, but it's gonna be the 2000s next, and I was like, no, that carnival with the clowns and everything, and then the car dealership, it all looked 50s. So I think we're headed back in time again.
I don't know. So I'm trying to think. Was there any other things that we didn't touch on?
Probably.
Well, that you can think of.
Jimmy Woo fucking threw hands like a boss. That was amazing.
Did, yeah.
Why didn't anyone tell me the plan?
He and Monica really threw down with the soldiers. I liked that a lot.
So, yeah, I'm excited to have Wiccan. Currently, he's the one that's gay. So obviously I hope
in the comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope we're going to get him. And I mean, I was hoping they were going to age him up, although keeping him a child would be a great way to not have to address that whatsoever. And
You're right.
Disney's
It's
spineless, so
yeah. Hey,
but
Joe Russo was gay.
Played an unnamed gay person.
I
also love that how like using the blip against people. Because it's a little bit true. It's
if only you had been here. It's like, excuse me.
No, he's terrible in this regard. I'm not saying that, but it's like, he was right. He was like, you don't know what it's like trying to put the world back together
of course.
5 full years.
You know, bad people can be right every once in a while, but...
If you had survived the blip and I hadn't, I would never hear the end of it. Like, if I got blipped...
And you came back?
Yeah. And you had to do the 5 years of hard work.
Oh, I mean...
You would be like, while you were gone.
Yeah, that's true. I would not even have the luck to get blipped and just miss 5 years of my life.
Yeah,
I would be toiling away in the meantime, and you would come back from this sweet vacation.
Just refreshed and ready to go.
That is exactly what would happen. If there was a blip, that is exactly what would happen.
So, okay, well, I guess that's it for now. We got 3 more weeks, so we'll see.